Hi there, Ezekiel here. It's that time of year again, and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Lady Hortensia Crawfish Dunn, double N, reflects. Hello. It's that festive time of year again. I'm so bored with it all. I thought I would start my celebrations a little early this year with a few glasses of my traditional Hereth sherry. I've had more than one already. Well, they could be my last. I've just heard on the radio that St. Martin is still in the field. They're asking for donations from the public. This has been going on for years now. Why don't they just open the bloody gate and let him out? Dear, oh dear. I wasn't so much asked to give this year's alternative Christmas message as begged, really. People from all over the planet sent an email asking me to speak a few words of wisdom and encouragement at this particularly worrying time for the planet and its future. I would like to begin with all you children and young people out there who may be a tad concerned about global events and the very real threat of World War III and, of course, global nuclear annihilation. You're probably thinking that the way things are going, that we're heading for a global war fought by AI robots and machines programmed for the total destruction of every living person on the planet. And you, of course, would be right in that assumption. Or possibly worse, although this is debatable, a total nuclear holocaust that could come at any second of any day now. The fact that there could be a supersonic, hyperbaric missile dropped without warning, resulting in a blinding nuclear flash in the sky that would probably burn out your optic nerve and blind you just before a split second later. There followed a superheated blast that would strip your flesh off your skeleton and leave it, just briefly, black and carbonised before it disintegrates into dust, leaving your hopes and dreams and what's left of you in a cloud somewhere, in the upper reaches of the atmosphere. All I can say to you youngsters is that you really mustn't let these things stress or worry you, as I have had a very long, full and terribly interesting life. I've seen things that you will probably never get to see. Amazing things. Everything from watching the Perseid meteor shower in the desert of Rajasthan, sunsets over the Bahamas. I had survived the Bermuda Triangle several times before there was even a t-shirt to say so. I've swam in the warmth of the Sargasso Sea, and I once had to duck to avoid a shoal of flying fish in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Extraordinary things. You youngsters will probably never see one, ever, as they will no doubt soon be extinct as the oceans warm up. But I would be more than happy to describe them to you, if time and events permit, of course. Oh, and the most extraordinary and magical event ever. Egypt. No, not the pyramids, not even Abu Simbel or the Valley of the Kings, magical though they all are, but the Sinai incident. I was taking a short holiday on the edge of the Sinai Desert in a lovely resort there, when I thought I saw a huge pillar of smoke arising from behind a nearby mountain. I couldn't decide whether it was an aircraft that had been downed or someone was burning an enormous pile of car tyres. The black cloud just grew and grew. It looked quite ominous. People in the resort were all looking up by now, and then suddenly someone screamed. A woman a few yards away. She began to flail wildly and ran around screaming that it was on her. What it was, I couldn't make out. Then another woman who'd been sunbathing leapt up, and also began to run towards the hotel where we were staying, waving her arms wildly and screaming. Good Lord, I thought, what on earth is the matter with them? Suddenly, we were surrounded by a great swarm that descended from the black cloud, which was by now over our heads. These amazing copper red and silver little angels descended in their millions. They were locusts, amazing creatures. They looked like giant copper and silver grasshoppers with wings. They descended like a great blanket over every surface. The scale of their arrival was truly biblical. Incredible. People were running and screaming in every direction. I was just mesmerised by their beauty. For me, it was almost a religious experience. The majesty of nature. It was mind-blowing. They stayed for 3.5 days and ate everything in sight that was green. There wasn't a tree left with a leaf on it. Whilst everyone else hid away indoors, I spent the next 3 days just running through them, taking pictures, and just watching them in absolute awe. I feel duty-bound, children, to relate these little tales to you all, so that you can at least imagine how wonderful the world would have been had you all grown up to experience it. I dare say there will be lots of locusts in the future, but not many people left on Earth to admire them. Well, as we know, children, it could all end at any second. Hiroshima will seem like a fireworks display by comparison to today's nuclear bombs. No point in getting under the table. Dear, that's what they told us to do when we were younger, around the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis. Get under the table, as if that would have made the slightest bit of difference. We came very close to the end of the world then. It was terribly thrilling. You can't even hide under the ground now for safety. There's no escape. Everyone yearns for peace on Earth, but you mustn't. It's bullshit. There's never been such a thing, ever, in recorded history, which is basically a catalogue of wars and slaughter. The earliest war I've ever seen recorded happened approximately 3,274 years ago. The famous Battle of Kadesh, fought between the ancient Egyptians and the Hittites, which was a military disaster for both sides. They wore each other out, and then decided that peace might be more fruitful in the long term, or at least until the next war. Ramesses II took full advantage of the fact that he was in control of the news media of the day, which consisted of a few scribes writing on papyrus on his payroll, and some very cooperative sculptors and artisan builders, also on his payroll, putting out his version of events. He claimed a huge victory, which was a lie. But you can lie if you control the media. Ask Fox News or GB News. They lie to you every day, all year round. There were wars before Kadesh, and it's been war ever since. So the thing to remember, children, when you're catastrophising about the worst thing that could ever happen to you, is that it's already happened, before you were even born. I am, of course, referring to your parents. If you've grown up and survived them and managed not to become them, you're doing incredibly well. Monstrous things, parents. Hideous. So my message for you all is to be grateful every day that you're even alive at all. Live in the moment and embrace now. For now is all you have, really. Enjoy every second. Nuclear Armageddon could be on its way at any moment. And if it comes, I have no complaints at all. Life's been wonderful to me. I just hope they don't do it before the next Wallace and Gromit that's due on Christmas Day. That truly would be unforgivable, and would probably constitute a war crime. Did I mention? I love and adore Annie Lennox. So talented and beautiful. You may think that's a little bit sapphic of me, but I don't care. I'm 102.